Who's going fishing Sunday?
I am. Let's go.
Let's go.
I am.
I'm in.
What? Wait. Can you put that cat down? Yeah.
The cat's in.
I was trying to be a Bond villain. I apologize.
Yeah.
It's warm by this fire, Buck.
We're not even in the fire. We need to jump in the current.
We got to cool off in the current.
I just want everyone to know. I mean, we say it all the time. You have 7 best friends when you tune into us every week.
And it's wild because we used to say that, but now it's so real.
And it was just a real existential morning, guys.
Got all existential.
Did you short drift them?
Well,
That's a yes.
That's what the Canadians say. No bueno.
No bueno.
If there is a traditional Canadian saying, no bueno.
And we are back. This is Rut and River Pursuit Podcast, and you're in the current. Our mission is connect you with the people, skills, and products you can trust.
you can trust him.
This is Dave, and who do we have around the table?
It's Bucky. It's Will.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
Hey guys, before we get started, how about Bucky tell us about this month's sponsor?
I'll tell you about our sponsor. This month's sponsor is our good friend at Dust to Dawn Bow Fishing and Maryland Waterfowl Guide Service, Captain Mark Spagnola.
Ooh, good old Cat Mark.
The one and only. Both Dust to Dawn Bow Fishing and Maryland Waterfowl Guide Service are operated out of the eastern shore of Maryland, as well as the Chesapeake Bay area. In the summer months, you can bow fish for species the likes of stingrays, gar, and snakeheads. While in the winter, Maryland Waterfowl Guide Service can put you on sea ducks of all makes and models.
Little fighter pilots just flying in an inch off the water.
Yep.
Those little speedy little buggers.
You and Stevie love them. Spend a lot of ammo on them. You can learn and book these epic outdoor experiences at dusttodawnbowfishing.com or marylandwaterfowl.com.
Noise. Get you some.
And tell Captain Mark the Rut and River boys said hello.
Ooh, it is about bow fishing season right now, isn't it? We should get down there.
We should. And then it's going to be sea duck season.
Can't wait.
Tempt me with a good time.
Cannot wait.
So boys, what is happening right now?
What's going on, Deekster?
Well, what did everybody else do?
Similar things to you.
Yes, I was. Before we get down the road
To that rabbit hole.
Yeah, because y'all went and did some pretty cool things. I just want to make mention.
Of what?
There has been a few mornings here recently where
You can tell the seasons are changing.
things have gotten a little crisper
Yeah.
in the mornings.
It's such a slight change. It makes you think that something's around the corner, but
And then it gets Serengeti hot in the afternoon.
yeah.
Last weekend we got a peak, I think, of what are things to come, but then it quickly got right back into August.
But what it's done is it's changed my mindset.
Yeah.
A little. It started the shift
I can see that.
in my mind.
Are you getting some archery pangs?
Well, what I did was I broke the bow out again. I
You
got
break
a
out
little,
the fiddle and you break out the bow.
not that bow,
Oh,
different
okay.
bow, Buck.
You don't rosin up this one?
No, I don't.
You should definitely put some
I
string
break it
lube
out.
on it,
I
though, right?
wax the string a little bit,
Yeah.
but no rosin is involved.
You do that for me.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I do
Your
no
string
bait.
is always thirsty.
Yeah, that's why I come over.
So, broke the bow out, got a little bit of shooting in, ordered some tree stands, ordered a whack of new trail cameras. I'm a little behind on the cameras and the tree stand situation, but my mind has started to shift. I wouldn't say away from fishing, but it's starting to include the whitetail world.
I will agree. I've started thinking about I need to get out in the woods.
Gotten a little bit of taste as far as the weather goes, and it's starting to make some things happen. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, but we can't forget there's a lot of fishing to do,
Oh, absolutely there is.
which I happened to do some the other week.
Is that
or
right?
last week.
What'd you get into?
Well, this was the I pulled a Stevie.
Caught a personal best something or other?
At lunch?
Again.
Maybe. No. I went camping.
Oh, you did a little glamping, did you?
Little glamping. Yeah, it's definitely it was a little above my style of camping.
I remember seeing some of these
because I'm
photos.
used to tents and no electric, no running water.
Right.
That's my camping normally. But
You glamped.
we definitely glamped. This was the I don't know if it's second annual. Maybe it's going to be, it'll be an annual trip now.
Pretty regular pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Ish.
We the fam and including cousins, and I mean it was a pile of us. We went camping at Knoebels.
Oh yeah, Elysburg.
Yep.
Here we come.
Oh, we did, and that I will say, because we were up in the mountains like that.
Yeah.
That got me a little taste of fall too.
Yeah.
I know what's going on there. But, we did the whole Knoebels thing, but we stayed at Lake Glory campground, which happens to have a lake. Imagine that. The name,
Not just a clever name.
not just a clever name. So the one day we had to come back from the park because we have a 2-year-old and she needs a nap time, or the rides just aren't fun.
Sure.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Dad needs a nap time too.
Well,
Doesn't hurt.
I went fishing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Took
So-
advantage of nap time.
I did a little scouting because we had my 2-year-old. There's a 4-year-old. There's a 6-year-old, and there's a 12-year-old.
Sounds like you need to do some scouting.
Yeah. So, because of course we always say when we're introducing kids to the outdoors, you got to have interest. It needs to be interesting. It needs to be kind of fast paced, or
Sure.
attention's run short.
You don't want to take them out and have them bored the first couple of times, or they'll
Exactly.
not be interested.
So I went scouting.
It's also a good excuse for Dad to get away from a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 6-year-old. How many kids did you say?
There was 5 kids under 12. Yeah, I forgot there was an
Yeah.
8-year-old, 9-year-old.
That scouting serves several purposes. I understand. I'm very familiar.
And the other thing, it needs to be easy fishing, so
Sure.
bobber and worm. So I haven't done that for
So
a
you
while.
really were
know-
fishing like Stevie.
And there's something to be said
Oh.
about that kind of fishing, guys.
It definitely is, because and like I said, I had to wrap my head around it because we don't do it, and I haven't enough. Exactly. And part of the scouting was figuring out the rig. You know,
You had to relearn it.
I had to relearn.
All I brought were these trolling harnesses.
Back
Yeah.
to the basics.
I mean, I can't have a 2-year-old trying to throw a Ned rig. I mean,
All
it just
of
doesn't work.
Not a Ned
It's
rig.
like
You mean
trying
a
to take
tube,
Stevie
bud.
with
We
a Ned
knew
rig.
what you had
Yeah,
on.
you
You
know.
had a tube tied on to
Oh
there.
yeah.
The peanut butter and jelly tube.
Yeah, PB&J tube.
But so I went out
butter jelly time.
and I found a little spot in the lake. They had a nice bench there, so it was nice. Set out 2 lines and was just thinking I'll be able to check the emails and stuff from work, and bobber goes down.
Strike indicator.
Strike indicator. Bam. I miss it though.
What?
Yeah,
You blew it.
I blew it. It happens again. Miss again. So I need to
Little
reevaluate.
perch.
Need to reevaluate this rig.
Sneaky.
That's what it is. You start feeling that thump, thump, thump.
Yeah.
It's patch.
Pitch. Little pitch.
Where you drop
Sneaky.
Drop shot and stickleback. Yeah.
Under
Sneaky
that.
little pitch.
But so I changed hook sizes and then got one on, and do it again. Get another one on.
Did you go with a
Pitch.
size 14 treble?
No, not quite.
Captain Jamie says that's what you're supposed to use.
She does. I didn't have any along. I was searching deep in my tackle before we even left for a small treble, but so I catch a few and I text Dad. I'm like, Dad, you got to come up here. I'm on them. He comes up, he catches a few, and the fun thing, it was slightly frustrating because they were like soft mouth in it. They weren't biting hard, but the indicator was going down, and we catch a few though. And I text my wife, I'm like, you got to bring up our daughter.
What are you catching though?
It's time.
We're
Bring 'em
catching
up.
sunnies.
Sunnies. Okay.
Big, like
all right.
palm-sized sunnies.
Pumpkin seeds.
Yes.
What, are you keeping these?
No, 'cause
you can eat them, dude.
It was a catch and release, lit pond only.
Oh man.
And there were signs all over the
Oh,
place
man.
about it. I know. Because the funny thing, the boy who's
Throwing
8 or 9 years old, he told me even before this camping trip, he's like, I want to catch a fish and we got to eat it. Because he likes to cook.
Yeah.
And he's like, with your fishing ability and my cooking ability, we'll make a meal. And I was like, okay, that's a lot of
see.
Perfect pair.
that's a lot of pressure, bud.
Sound like it.
So we get in.
You could have put a meal together if they'd only let you.
And I
know.
can't believe that you're lying to these young kids. How does he
I
know about your fishing
my fishing
prowess?
ability? I know. he I guess he's naive. He just doesn't know yet. Doesn't know the ways of the world.
He follows you on the Instagrams.
Yeah. So Lemon comes up, my daughter, and her little. What was the name of the character we said about earlier?
Mohana.
Mohana. her little Mohana fishing rod, which is just as small as an ice fishing rod. You know, it's tiny. Have that set out for her. That indicator goes down. Get her reel it in. It's on. And
luau.
She's all about. She was reeling it in. A nice big sunfish, and get it up. And I'm like, you know, she's all interested in it. You know, curiosity of a 2-year-old. It was great. Asked her if she wanted to touch it. Nope. And she's walking. She's hightailing it back to the camper. She liked looking at it, but you tell her to touch it. Nope. So that was that afternoon. That day, the other kids were still at the park during that, and they came back for dinner. I told the other kids, I was like, hey, tomorrow morning at 7:15, because all these kids rise early. I mean, 7 o'clock, they're ready to go.
Ooh.
I was like, 7:15, you be ready, and we'll go fishing. So the 9-year-old, 7:15, him and the 6-year-old, they were ready. Boy and girl, they were ready to go. So we go walking up to the pond, set out, and get them practicing casting and everything. And they're casting pretty good, and nothing's happening. I'm like, oh man. And they're starting to get antsy. You know, the attention span's done.
Yeah.
And
tell them the fish slept in.
Yeah, it did. So I throw out the Mohana rod, and because I had them on 2 different things, and that rod, boom, that goes down. So
mahalo.
Yeah. Exactly. So I tell the little girl, I'm like, here, come over here.
Do you still have that rod?
Oh, I do.
Bucky's taking it on the next wet wave.
I know. I might even. I mean, it was the hot ticket.
That thing's dipped in it.
So she reels it in. She's all excited. And she gets a fish, and a little while later, they're still fishing on the rods I set them up with, and nothing's happening on their stuff. Mohana rod's sitting there. That indicator goes down again. So I get the boil on that one. So he reels it in, and they're all excited. And that was about an hour into it, and you know, they both caught a fish. So check mark, their day's done. You know, good on them.
Good for you.
Yeah. So then the 4-year-old comes up. I'm like, okay, so I still have the 2 rods out and have the Mohana rod out.
Of course.
Goes down again.
Nice.
Come on, Anadiki Wakao.
Yep. So he reels it in.
You're just waiting.
I'm running out of Hawaiian.
I hope so.
Google some more. I'm
What's
still going.
the saying when they do the finger thing? What's it?
Hang loose?
Hang loose.
Yeah.
Or you could just go with aloha. You haven't hit that yet.
Oh, aloha.
That'd be a good one to yell.
So the 4-year-old boy, he gets one, thread it back out. He gets another, and here comes my daughter. She comes up. She gets another. You know, so the hot ticket. You know, I have.
What did she get that on?
On the Mohana rod.
Tiny bubbles.
I mean, there's my custom spinning rod that I built myself, and there's another, like, you know, another Johnson, or like another, that was probably a Zepco Johnson type thing, you know, like real fishing
Fisher
rods.
Price knows what they're doing, bud.
And they both have like good 4-pound test on, you know, like fluorocarbon, you know, to be sneaky and everything. And here's the stock Mohana rod on the stock line, which is probably like 8-pound junk. In our world, we would never put that on.
You were putting some of Uncle Bobby Urig's crab juice.
I wasn't. It was just night crawlers.
Mega Strike.
Yeah, Mega Strike night crawlers.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny. You know, the whole, you know, real fishing setups aren't catching fish, and this $20 Mohana rod that you could barely set the hook because it's only 2 foot long, you know.
We gotta send that to Brandon Barrett.
I know.
It's a 6-aught bait keeper hook.
He'll go pro right after he gets it.
He will. I mean, it's just a lucky rod. So, but I was happy that my daughter got her first fish, and then another one, and I got the other kids interested in it. And you know, they were already saying, you know, the 9-year-old, I told him, you know, in the spring we'll go out and we'll catch trout. And then we'll really eat. You know, we'll get some, and then we'll keep going from there.
Hopefully,
but they're
likes trout.
Yeah, I know.
Uncle Deke actually knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Don't listen to what Uncle Stevie says.
He made me pass on good tasting fish.
But you know, it's nice to see that curiosity in the little ones towards the outdoors, and you know, I think a little spark of interest is going, and you know, definitely I probably created more memories for myself than they did.
I was gonna say proud papa moment.
Yeah. And Uncle Dave, you know, that situation with the other ones. So, you know, it was fun. It was definitely a highlight of my trip, and it was a good week. So what else happened though? Because I get home and turn around about less than 24 hours.
I wasn't sure how you were going to pull this next thing off.
You did. I was actually shocked.
Oh, yeah. I went to work for a good 10 hours Friday.
So you earned it.
I earned it. A week, 4 days off.
I put in 10 hours this week, boys. I'm taking off again.
So
look at the time.
Yeah, out of work and turn and burn. Luckily, I have a very understanding wife.
I knew that was coming.
Put in the fun time and got good quality family time. And she gave me the nod that I was allowed to go have some boy time. So we headed up over the mountain.
Hey! What? Can we rephrase that?
The boys got to hang out
with a Z, so it's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all good.
The boys.
Okay. Yeah. So
Boy.
we all loaded up at Uncle Buck's house in Will's truck, and we headed out.
Mm-hmm. You guys turned west.
We hit the road.
Yeah. We headed to the Bearded Buck compound again.
Is that right?
They hosted the Quest Hunt Co. film class.
Get out of town.
Film and picture class.
Yeah.
Now, is this the film the hunt class that they were doing out there? Bearded Buck?
Mr. Petrie.
Is that right?
Was involved.
So Become One was in the house.
Become One. All
guys get
all
out
of
of town.
Become One.
Tom and Nick was there. They were both there.
Huh.
So we were around outdoor royalty.
You guys did some learning.
Most of the weekend.
Yeah.
It's always good to be at the Bearded Buck with Jerry and Cud.
I like the Hunt Quest crew.
Yeah.
Like the pro staff guys are just salty of the earth.
Is that Brian and Jason?
Pat Rizzolino and Jason Clark.
Yeah, those guys are just...
And little Mikey Miller.
Nice.
Keeping it real and keeping us honest and just... It's funny. They're great people, and they're kind of... just kind of new to us,
Yeah.
So
I need to just pause for a second, because I do want to hear a little bit about what you guys did during his class, like the things you were learning. But Deke touched on something that made me giggle. When he said little Mikey Miller was along too. You sent a picture. I knew it had to be you, Deke, that took it. But you guys had a time for some camaraderie afterwards.
After intense learning.
And we've talked about the Bearded Buck compound ad nauseum, right? Like, this place is phenomenal.
It's the Playboy Mansion of the outdoors without the bunnies.
And at one point, I guess Deke was at the opposite end of the bar, and he snapped a picture, and little Mikey Miller's sitting there with his arms crossed, and he sticks his tongue out because Deke's taking the picture. And Deke just said, the caption of the picture was something like, he looks like a little kid at the other end of the bar. And I looked at it, I even zoomed in. He's 12 years old. I love the kid to death, but he's 12. It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what he is now.
25, 26.
No, he's a good guy, but he looks super young, and just
because he was sitting low, so it did look like he was
sitting down low. It's a big, huge bar.
It's all about
Plus, it's in a big, giant
camera
room.
angles.
I was using the camera angles we learned earlier.
So this is what you guys learned that day.
Yeah,
you forced that perception, bud. Because he looked like he was 12. I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, we had a good time with the rest of the pro staff, and definitely. It was nice to network afterwards.
Yeah.
After we got that learning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. Is these guys are just they're friends and they're becoming family very quickly.
Yeah, but we can't discount the day though, guys, because I don't know if I'm just speaking for myself here.
So what's the 50,000 foot view though of what do you pick up from a Film the Hunt class?
Well, first of all,
we learned.
Nick and Tom
we're gonna learn today.
Were the teachers. They were the leaders of this class. And if you have not watched Become One, you need to. Yeah, it's very cinematography driven TV show about the outdoors.
Yeah,
I mean, just the thought and the skill that shows through on their TV show.
Yeah, this cinematic qualities.
Yeah,
of this. I mean, it's theatrical.
Yes,
to watch their show.
Well, and they share that eye with you.
Tom, being he, kind of gave us a little bit of a, behind the scenes of just an insight of some of the shots and sequences that they set up. And the thought process that goes into absolutely everything that they do it looks so natural, and it doesn't look stage set up, blah blah blah, and most of it probably isn't, but the way that they're able to capture it is nothing short of just like a master's class. And like you wouldn't think that much, something that complex can look that simple. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, there's a lot more than just a shot. I mean, a shot is a quick way of saying what really goes into a shot.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not. This is accessible for everyone because Tom and Nick also have Film the Hunt Film School that
and they teach you.
They teach you everything. I mean, they teach their tips and tricks of how they produce their show and how they produce other shows.
Right.
And how they edit them. I mean, they have multiple classes that will take you from the field into the post-production, in the whole gambit of the industry.
Yeah, and we started out with basics. I mean, it was...
You can only do so much in one day.
In
8 hours.
But, it all revolves around those basics. If you don't have those basics, you're not going to be able to attempt the final product.
And then Tom appreciates the also getting out into the field and backing that up with hands-on experience.
I was going to say, I was fortunate enough, even though I didn't get to tag along, I was fortunate enough to be privy to some of the behind-the-scenes things that were going on, including I saw what the agenda was for this abbreviated class that you guys got to participate in. And a great deal of that was field exercise.
Yes.
And then I got to witness some of the behind-the-scenes photos of you guys putting into practice some of these things that you just learned in the classroom part of it. So it was pretty cool to see all of that going down, and the focusing on the micro and your image is the macro, and I mean there's all kinds of crazy words, and I wasn't there, so I'm just making stuff up. But
just using words,
pretty much.
How to even on a shot that he even taught us ways to spice up a shot that doesn't look good. Maybe you take a picture and you look at it, that really doesn't do anything for me. And if you just put something,
was it because I was in it?
You put some depth into it, maybe, I guess one of the biggest things, what I'm driving at is he teaches you something that I thought couldn't be taught, and that's the air quotes the eye.
Sure.
And that can be taught.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying just like athletic ability, you can teach somebody to be more athletic and you can practice it, but there's still a natural, athletic ability and the intangible about somebody. But Tom taught Bucky, something that I thought was so hard.
Which is unheard of.
And I am like, I can't wait to get out there and do it. And I was even trying
I can see already though, bud. Just a couple of days later, you're still pretty fired up about it. You got your wheels are spinning. I love it.
I've been chewing the cud.
I love it.
And no offense, Ron.
You were chewing on cud? Come on.
I am kind of sweet on Ron, though. He's a good guy.
Speaking of Deke's pictures, I also got a picture you and Cud, elbow to elbow, swapping stories.
We were deep into conversation, actually.
I could only imagine what was going on there.
I think we were just sharing about our lives and what's going on and
peeling back the layers.
Yeah, peeling back the layers.
Yeah. Y'all are both some onions.
And we recognize we're kindred spirits of our own groups, if you will.
I love it.
Yeah, but I'm not near as quick as Ron. Don't ever think I can outrace him. I won't even try.
Is that right?
Oh, he's quicker than lightning.
He's got some speed.
Yeah, but don't let him fool you.
See, now you could have used that to your advantage. I'd have put the money on you, Buck, but now I won't.
I wouldn't take your money. Not on that one. But what I'd take money on is Bucky is going to be able to put out some better photos. Guys.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to what that's going to mean for us. We're going to see a lot more artistic sides of the group. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm definitely going to try to put it out there more. Definitely. And videos, too. Some light bulbs were going off. And
so this would be a great moment, an opportunity, if you would, for me to advise everyone who's in earshot right now, head on over to Instagram, follow R2 Buck if you aren't already, because there's going to be some epicness coming.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Trying.
That's his way of covering his butt if he doesn't.
No, we will.
That's this fine print.
We will, though. Yeah. We are bringing it and trying to push the envelope into different areas, too, just not as outdoorsy, I guess, with me. I'm trying to show all sides of Bucky.
But again,
Not all sides on Instagram, bud.
No,
really quickly though.
yeah, I agree. There.
Sorry.
Yeah, against creating nausea.
Just really quickly, it does bear mention if the classes for Film to Hunt.
Yeah.
They have an online course or courses, which is it's
a monthly subscription to their site.
Yeah,
and you get
all
unlimited
kinds of
information
access for a year, and then also then they have the big classes that they hold a couple times a year, and they're just chock full of information, and you graduate that from some of those classes. You're depending on what you take, you're sitting like employment level.
They are preparing. Like, I think that's even their, I don't want to say catchphrase, but they are preparing the next outdoor film people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are, you can graduate those classes and you're ready to, like you said, be employed for any of these TV shows or anything media related.
Sure.
You have all those skills afterwards.
I think that this would be a good opportunity to advise folks to go back in our catalog and check out that Become One episode, because we had Tom and Nick both on right after they rebranded into the Become One group, and we did talk a lot about the film school and what they've got going on with their show too. So check that out. It's good stuff.
I mean, we only had a 1-day course, so don't try to hire us.
I disagree. Did you hear Bucky just talking about that? He's ready.
I'm only going to handle Bucky right now before I'm going to take anybody's, with great power comes great responsibility.
Spider Buck over there is ready.
Uncle Buck, Ben Buck.
But they have some wonderful opportunities. It was awesome. I got to say thank you to Quest for inviting us to their film school.
Right.
And like I said, they're super great. The guys over there.
Can we just take a moment to just talk about Quest Hunt Co. real quick?
We need to let people know about this.
Folks are going to be hearing a lot about them coming up. I don't want to pull the curtain back too far, but you're going to be hearing a lot about Quest Hunt Co. coming up.
Pull it back.
But, you're going to be hearing about them all September, because we got some things in the works here. And Quest Hunt Co. has been great working with them so far, and I cannot wait. But it's a unique deal, right? Like, everybody knows about big buck contests at the local gun shops, right?
Big buck pool at your work or at the local bow shop or sporting goods shop. But this takes any of that to the next level.
Yeah, it takes the cake, so to speak.
It's like Powerball of buck contest.
Yeah, Powerball buck contest.
Well, it's multi-state.
Like,
you can buy tickets in every state.
But this is the thing. This is the twist on it's Powerball of the hunting world, right? You're only competing against those Powerball tickets that were bought in Pennsylvania in this contest.
And sometimes you're competing against people who have public Powerballs and private Powerballs, meaning public land and private land.
There you go.
They even separate that out, which is fantastic. I mean, there's level playing field out there for everybody. I mean, there's no...
I mean, and that's the biggest kicker when you talk about these big buck pools that are in those local shops. Mm-hmm. You're competing against guys that are in the area, right? When you talk about this thing that's 7 states wide and growing every year, some dude like me sitting in South Central Pennsylvania is like, I can't compete in a big buck contest against a dude in Iowa.
And
it just ain't happening. Though I will tell you this, it won't be long before PA will compete 1-to-1 against dudes in Iowa, because we are starting to grow some friggin' hogs out here.
That's a heck of a gauntlet you just threw.
But I'm calling it right now.
Are you?
We got some pigs that are coming out of PA.
It was said on Rotten River Pursuit podcast
Mark my word.
Ryan Madera.
Get your calendars out.
Get them out.
It's
happening.
So when you talk to Brian and Jeff from Quest Hunt Co., they're Missouri boys, represent
MIZ.
Yeah. And,
it's not even how the alphabet works.
ZOU.
Or the Z.
So, they're Missouri boys, grew up fishing. There's bass tournaments all over the place, just like Pennsylvania, just like anywhere there's bass tournaments. But there's not that kind of atmosphere towards hunting. So they wanted to bring that feel to the hunting world, where there's extra prizes, there's side pots, there's different things going on.
Calcuttas,
Yeah.
if you will.
So this is they designed it to happen in these couple states, and it's growing. They're adding states each year, and they added Pennsylvania. This is the first year for Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And you enter. It's a 2-man team. You enter.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that part.
Yeah.
It's a team competition.
It's a team competition. So just like bass fishing,
You don't have to feel alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's both of you bringing in that bag limit.
I wanted to actually ask a question about that.
Yeah, bud.
Deke, did
Yeah.
your back hurt yet?
I'm
'Cause you're already carrying me, bud.
Yeah, and we've teamed up individual or in groups here at
Yeah.
Rut and River Pursuit
Absolutely.
podcast. But you're adding that total score, and I think last year in one of the states, 10th place, only one buck was entered
For the team.
that won 10th
They
place.
scored one buck
See
for
that?
the team.
So
Like I said,
you know
And it
you
won.
can
Carrying us,
you
bud.
can have a guy carry your team, and
And correct me if I'm wrong. 10th place this year in each state. Each state pays out 10th places.
yeah.
And
that's what's cool is, like I said, you're only competing against people in your state.
I mean, and there's
the prizes are
10th
amazing.
place is $2,500 worth of Badlands products.
I think so.
That's not shabby.
Yeah.
That's per man.
That's per man. There's $50,000 worth of prizes going out, and not only if you don't think you have a chance to score, because not everybody kills a buck every year. Not everybody kills a monster buck every year. You still have a chance to win in their monthly drawings. So that's another factor. How many times do you spend on a lottery ticket or a ticket for a sports club that you could win a Yeti from? Similar, you could win a grizzly. You could win tree stands. There's a monthly prize each month for Pennsylvania. So just from entering, you can win that.
Wait, David, Kyle, you know what else is a win?
What?
Though, and you don't even have to be drawn.
Right.
You don't even have to shoot a buck.
Go on.
You can still win by joining the access to the discounts to the
Exactly.
And I'm going to use a big word out there, a myriad of sponsors.
That was myriad, but I like it.
And I mean at the pinnacle of
MIZ.
the industry.
Yeah. There's anything.
That's where I learned those words.
Anything you're buying for this upcoming season is probably on that list for discounts. Tree stands, blinds, hunting gear, bows.
The only two things you won't find on a sponsor list is a firearm or a bow sight rest. Right.
The bow sight.
Bow sight.
Yep. So you can outfit yourself for this season with discount codes.
Yeah.
And get everything and get your entry
fee
fee
back
very quickly.
Yeah, but I gotta pause a second here, and I need to back up a little bit. Did you say I could win without killing a buck?
Yeah.
That's my kind of contest.
You can get
Now
drawn.
we're talking. I didn't even know that. I'm feeling a whole lot more confident about my chances.
Bless your heart.
There's tree stands. There's
I'm carrying
four-wheelers.
you now, Deke.
Apparel packs.
Yeah, you are the lucky one. So
Ground
we might
blinds.
win anyways.
I'm taking Hunter with me.
Like I said, everything other than firearms and sights.
Love it.
It's definitely a cool situation to get in. We're all entered, so you're competing against us. So
Yeah, good luck with it.
good luck on you.
You can find
Sorry
them.
about that.
You can jump in on this contest at questhuntco.com, and while you're filling out your entry, just let them know that Rut and River Pursuits podcast sent you over there to them, and get in with us. Start shouting out with us and interacting with us over the Instagrams and the Facebooks. And
once you sign up for Quest Hunt Co., then try to join our group, Best Friends of Rut and River Pursuit podcast, because the trash talk's going to be starting pretty soon. Cannot wait for that. I'm talking directly to you, Aaron Ole.
Yeah, and that's coming from the trash panda.
That's right. I called you out directly, Aaron.
The trash talking panda coming at you.
I know Samantha's going to shoot the buck, so why don't you guys both sign up and
or one of the
see
kids.
what happens?
And you take the picture.
Oh yeah. You know what? Aaron better get over there and grab up Samantha as a partner right now, because she's probably trying to partner up with Japer right now.
I would
because that
assume.
kid puts up some numbers.
Yes, he
That's
does.
true.
But we do need to throw this out there too, because if you do qualify for the top 10 with your photo and your home measurements, when you do come to the banquet in February, you will have your mount with you so they can measure it, and you will have a polygraph test given to you. to attest it.
What are you trying to tell me, Bucky?
It's just their way.
Cheaters will be found.
Yes.
Jeez, bud, we didn't even get to legal season yet.
I just want to throw that out there
You already
because that's
accused
the
me
next.
of having one tied up to a tree.
Well, our fans
What are
out
you
there
talking
might be thinking, people can. This might be an easily cheated contest.
Yeah, I could use a buck from 3 years ago.
And
You can't.
these guys are on top of it. And basically, Brian said, and didn't deny it. Someday there will be a cheater, but they'll
I got
hang
a
'em
season
high,
pass to
is
Hershey
what they
Park.
said. Yeah.
And Zoo America.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Hey, and
Or Lake
surprisingly, polygraph tests are common in these big high dollar. I mean, the White Marlin Open.
Right.
If you win that, you have to go through it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
and they
something
actually
normal.
they found one the other year. And they rooted them out. You can't pass it. So
I all for it.
Well, all in all, it sounds like you boys had a pretty good time out there. So I'm sorry I missed it.
the nice part about all that, it was what we do on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Getting around a campfire. Literally, we got around a campfire, and we were swapping stories. Just having a good time with like-minded individuals, and we're all after the same thing. Just to create memories in the outdoors and live our lifestyle out. So,
Love it.
So real quick, back to the film school.
yes,
I would be remiss
Yeah,
if I
there you
didn't. Yeah, if
that was
I
the word
didn't-
I was going to use.
If I didn't say how Tom was able to talk to us on our own levels. So some of us had more experience than others, and that was just. I was one of my initial fears was like he's going to teach me how to turn a camera on, and this is going to be a pretty great weekend.
Yeah, I didn't go because I figured I'm already an expert.
Yeah,
I didn't want to.
I went to help
That's good.
Tom and them with the class.
Makes sense.
right. Yes.
It's shown for a blank canvas.
Oh,
type of
you were the
approach.
opposite end of the spectrum. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
the
Okay.
Blank
He was a model.
canvas.
Yeah. So, but it was really cool how he took he was able to talk to us on our own level, individually, all at the same time, and it was masterfully done. And some of us, like Pick, he doesn't have a lot of camera experience for DSLR and or camcorders, like the Sony. We run the AX100.
That's actually something I wanted to ask about. Like, you guys actually brought your own equipment.
Yeah.
Like, the stuff you're running in the field, you brought with you. So it's not like you had to show up and he only talked about the cameras that he runs, and that's how the lesson was taught. You had your stuff in your hand.
True.
And
That's cool.
And they
And
helped
we all had different cameras. Every one of us, and he was able to go. And
That speaks to,
his knowledge.
it
was crazy.
In my world outside of being the amazing outdoorsman that I am.
Oh yeah.
I also have some training background, and I've done some training, and that speaks to his ability to be able to focus the class, and while he's teaching everyone, make it unique for each individual, because you guys have that equipment right there, and he's talking to you about how that camera works. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have came along. I am an expert and all, but maybe I could have learned something. Probably.
Maybe
this
something.
This
could
was
have
a
picked
gift.
up.
This class was truly a gift. I knew what I was getting into, but I didn't know what I was getting into.
Right.
What's that mean?
I knew I was going to go there, and I was definitely going to come away
With something.
with something. It was just how much of it was going to be above my head, and how much of it. And I will say, I probably walked away with 3/4 of what was said still floating around in there, and has had a second thought since last weekend.
Very cool. Well, it just kind of blew me away that we all had this different varying degrees of exposure to cameras, and
I see what you did there.
Yeah, we got something.
I like it.
Exposure.
So one of the reasons why I was not able to attend,
Excuses, you mean?
Go on.
one of the excuses as why I was not able to attend, it's synonymous, bud.
I know what you were saying.
I tried to recreate a miniature version of the float trip that Will and I did on the Juniata River.
That wasn't on the koozie.
No, this was about as impromptu as you get. I didn't know until 11 o'clock the night before that we were getting up at 7 a.m.
Yuntu?
I cheat yet? Nah, Jew.
Yeah, that was it that impromptu?
It was pert near that impromptu. It literally was 10, 11 o'clock at night the night before, and I woke up at 7 a.m. and started like scrambling to get kayaks together. I was like, oh, well, maybe we'll go along. Let me throw together 7 kayaks real quick, and life jackets and paddles and whistles, and like trying to be right. Anyway, what we did was I joined my wife and some of her family, including my 8-year-old nephew. We did a float down the Yellow Breeches instead of the Juniata River, and we went 3 miles instead of 30 miles.
Were you able to fish this time?
Not much more. It's kind of crazy. I felt a little bit of obligation as far as bringing up the rear, let's say. I was worried about making sure everybody got into the water safely, everybody navigated all of the low spots or the rapids, because it's a much smaller body of water than the Juniata River, but it's got some faster flowing spots than the Juniata River did.
Yeah.
We actually hit a little bit of, like, we had to do some chutes, and we lost some
Any
canoes
ladders?
and no ladders.
Okay.
But like some kayaks had actually rolled, and like worrying about making sure everybody's
Making sure you got back in
physically
there.
okay type scenario.
Are you saying you rolled? I mean,
No, I didn't.
Oh,
Other people did.
Right.
Again, I'm the expert, just trying to help everybody
right.
else out. But because I was bringing up the rear, and we had a couple of like teenage kids who they hit the water as soon as I shoved them off, and they started paddling. I'm like, this is supposed to be a float, not a paddle. But I'm trying to catch them the whole time. So I caught a couple of fall fish, creek chubs, however you want to call them, and 1 rainbow trout.
nice.
All of that on the same lure that I use in the creek up here for rock bass and all kinds of other stuff. So I had a good time.
Yeah, nothing beats being out in the outdoors like
No,
that.
it's so nice.
Yeah.
So nice. There's a lot more people. Will, do you remember when we were on the Juniata, we had that little stretch right in front of that campground where there were tubes and stuff everywhere?
Yes.
The entire 3 miles of the Yellow Breeches on a Saturday
Yeah.
afternoon is like that.
Seriously.
I was wondering
Everywhere
because
is just covered with people.
we did that. We did the inner tubes and cooler situation where
there was a lot of coolers going on.
and you don't get out to pee type situation, you know.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah, you're just floating for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, good time nonetheless. Not quite as nice as being at the Bearded Buck with y'all, but I survived. So that was my weekend. Running the creek, little mini Juniata River float in honor of Will, since I couldn't hang out with him.
That's too cool.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Actually, a little jealous of that. I'm kind of, as much as it was awesome to learn about cameras and filming and stuff like that. Ever since the float trip, I've been wanting to be back on the water.
Well, you've mentioned it a few times here recently. You've been itching, I think, to catch a rock bass or something.
I haven't caught rock bass
on your
since
bucket
I
list,
was a kid.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I don't know how I've gotten
Like
away
the
from it.
top 2 fish on your bucket list, I thought
This
were
year,
like
rock bass.
peacock bass in the Amazon and rock bass in the Conewaga.
that's your bucket list.
That's what I thought. And what were we able to do?
I think you're like 50% on that.
Something like that.
I do want a peacock bass, but there's no priority to that.
Okay.
This year's bucket list was rock bass and catfish, and I'd like, what is it, like a 25 or 30 pounder. 30 pounder would be
Oh, that'd be sweet.
pretty epic on a kayak.
Heck yeah. Were you able to knock any of that off of your list recently?
I was.
Is that right?
I did.
What'd you do?
I was guided. I hired one of the best guys in all of
The industry.
Adams County. And I'll tell you what,
There's no shame in that game.
No, this dude knows his stuff when it comes to
He has it dialed in.
red-eyed rock bass. And
Is that right?
it's just, he's probably the rock bass queen.
There's only one way to know for sure.
You make
How did you do like on your very first cast?
I might have caught a fish.
What? On your first cast?
Probably a rock bass.
Is that right? This guy does sound like he knows what he's doing.
Was that on a swim
Who
bait?
was it?
Was that on a swim bait, bud?
Ryan Madera.
That's right.
At Pass Through Archery. If you're looking for a rock bass guide, dude's got it on lockdown. And the funny part was, and I know I slow rolled it just a hair, but the bottom line is like it's a panfish, it's a sunfish fishery. Some stretches of creek and this and that have these kind of holes. You just gotta work the creek. You gotta walk it.
Yeah.
You gotta get on it and find it. But anyway, one of these areas that Ryan has in his back pocket at any time is just full of panfish, and it's wonderful. It like I said, it was nothing for him to. He even set me up. He's like, "Listen, I know you got some tackle that would probably work, but
Yeah, it probably would have.
but it's not what you need."
Nope.
So I don't know I haven't seen this actual bait really anywhere.
It's proprietary.
Is it?
Yeah.
You want somebody making it for you, or
I'm thinking about sending it out. Trying to get somebody to maybe mimic it up.
Gotcha.
I got to get some custom colors made.
Gotcha.
Tell you about my thoughts here in a little bit.
I can't wait. But it's a little paddle tail, tiny paddle tail.
2-incher, bud.
2-incher buds. But it has a ton of action. It's stupid how much action that thing has. And we're using a really tiny jig head. And light rods, light tackle, light, what is it, 4-pound line? You had braid with a
I actually throw that creek rod is set up from the little creek dealing with small little 4 or 5 inch panfish. Mm-hmm. I could also land a pretty substantial smallie on the river with that setup because I use a 10-pound fins braid, which is way overkill for that creek, but it's so small in the diameter that you don't know it. And then I put a little 6-pound leader on it. Good to go. A little fluoro leader on that. Oh, it's perfect for a creek setup.
Right. Gotcha. But the funny part was for the size of the lures that we were using with the tackle
and the braid.
I just kind of forgot how it all sets up. I mean, I have it all sitting there. I just never use it. But I was actually able to get some casting distance with the jig, being an 8th. I wasn't expecting that at all. So it was you just kind of toss into different holes, different deep spots, and it was
just yank them out.
You don't even really. I don't know. There's not a fast or slow or a.
The only thing you have to consider
bounce
is
it off the bottom.
Are you throwing downstream, upstream, or across the stream?
Sure.
And then you can adjust the retrieve
speed of the retrieve
at that point, because obviously if you're throwing it upstream and retrieving it down, then you just got to go a little bit faster just to keep that action going in the paddle tail.
It's
other than that,
super
it's just
rocky too. So
So are you bouncing it off those rocks?
No, you want to swim it.
You want to just
as soon as you
completely
touch bottom, you're hung up.
Are you? That easy.
Yep.
Bam.
Yeah, just swim it along. That's the best way to do it. And if you can keep it just off the bottom, but like we talked about with the Junie, out of the river level, or in this case the creek level, changes so quickly.
You better be at it.
I was saying this to Will last night. The coolest thing is you learn, or you relearn in this case, to read those streams. So you're fishing it downstream and you can kind of judge by the current or the riffle or the way the water looks up ahead. You figure out where those deep spots are. But every time there's a deep spot, that means there's a sharp drop off. So you throw it in and you let it sink a little bit and you work it slow, but then all of a sudden you're getting hung up and you're like, okay, well, there's the edge. Now I know for next cast.
Yeah.
And you just work it accordingly.
Gotcha.
We did pretty good last night.
Sounds like it. Sounds like you had a quick study of a student as well.
Yeah. Well, and like I said to Will, I'm like, are you having fun? He's like, oh my God, I miss catching these fish. They're so much fun. And it's true.
Panfish are so much fun to catch. Yeah. Instead of waiting for a couple of fish, when you can catch one every few minutes, You know, that's a great evening
Heck yeah.
fishing, you know. Especially spontaneous you know, you guys put that together in what, 24 hours about?
Well, we had lunch yesterday,
Yeah.
and Will goes, man, I got to catch a rock bass soon. I'm like, how about tonight?
That was that easy.
Yeah, it wasn't even 12
You're Mr.
hours.
Spontaneity.
That's kind of my middle name thing.
Yeah. Good on you, boys.
Yeah, Trash Panda Spontaneity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about you boys, but I think we
Are
did
you gonna,
this.
are you gonna say it?
I think we did this pod a little bit of justice.
Attaboy. I believe you're correct. You're absolutely correct. But before we wrap it up, this month's episode was also brought to you in part by Scared Fishless Tackle Company.
Scared Fishless.
Make sure you head on over to scaredfishless.com. Check out everything they've got going on, from their 6-inch diamondback worm
Love that diamondback worm.
all the way to the fatty boom batty bucky.
Whoa!
That's right. Hey, check out all the cool colors that they've got too, but guess what?
What?
They also do custom colors. You got a color you love? Send them a sample. They'll match it as best they can. Get over to scaredfishless.com. Check it out, guys. Nice. Hey, Deekster,
Yeah, bud.
where can folks find us?
You can find us on all the social media properties by searching Rut and River Pursuits. Make sure you follow us individually also on Instagram and Facebook.
Like R2 Buck?
R2 Bucks. It's the hot ticket this month.
Heck yeah.
Give them some likes. Also,
you some.
you can find us on YouTube by searching Rut and River Pursuit Podcast. Make sure you download us to listen to our episodes on Monday and Thursday on all podcast apps such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
I heart them radios.
Make sure you check us out at rutandriverpursuit.com. Boys, it was another great week.
It
sure
absolutely was.
Always having fun in the
Totally.
outdoors.
Good on you, boys.
We'll see you. He told me before this camping trip, he's like, I want to catch a fish and we got to eat it, because he likes to cook.
Yeah.
And he's like, with your fishing ability and my cooking ability, we'll make a meal. And I was like, okay, that's a lot of
Perfect pair.
that's a lot of pressure, bud.
Sound like it.
So we get in.
You could have put a meal together if they'd only let you.
I
And I
know.
can't believe that you're lying to these young kids. How does he
I
know about your fishing
my fishing
prowess?
ability? I know.
Follow R2 Buck if you aren't already, because there's going to be some epicness coming.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Trying.
Trying. That's his way of covering his butt if he doesn't.
No, we will.
That's this fine print.
We will, though.
Yeah.
We are bringing it and trying to push the envelope into different areas, too. Just not as outdoorsy, I guess, with me. I'm trying to show all sides of Bucky.
But again,
Not all sides on Instagram, bud.
No.
They have
really
rules.
quickly though.
Yeah, I agree there.
Sorry.
Yeah, against creating nausea. You know, that's a great evening
Heck
of
yeah.
fishing, you know. Especially spontaneous you know, you guys put that together in what, 24 hours about?
Well, we had lunch yesterday,
Yeah.
and Will goes, man, I got to catch a rock bass soon. I'm like, how about tonight?
That was that easy.
Yeah, it wasn't even 12
You're
hours.
Mr. Spontaneity.
That's kind of my middle name thing.